गुड आफ्टरनून स्टूडेंट्स। तो आज हम अपने इस वीडियो में देखेंगे एम लक्ष्मीकांत चैप्टर फर्स्ट एज ए हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड। As we know that the British came to India in 1600 as traders in the form of East India Company, which had the inclusive right of trading in India under a charter granted by Queen Elizabeth I. So in 1765, the company, which till now had purely trading functions, obtained the Diwani. Basically, the means as the Diwani is that rights over revenue and civil justice. So British company ruled on us, and this rule continued until India was granted independence on August 15, 1947. So after a great struggle, हमें इंडिपेंडेंस मिली अगस्त 15, 1947 में। इंडिपेंडेंस मिलने के बाद एक नीड हुई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की, एक लॉ की, जिस पे कि सभी कुछ गवर्न किया जा सके। सो विथ इंडिपेंडेंस केम द नीड फॉर अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। Hence, a Constitution Assembly was formed for the purpose in 1946, and on January 26, 1950, the Constitution came into being. However, various features of the Indian Constitution and polity have their roots in the British rule. There were certain events in the British rule that laid down the legal framework for the organization and functioning of government and administration in British India. These events have greatly influenced our constitution and polity. They are explained here in a chronological order under two major headings. The Company Rule. Basically, the time period of the Company Rule is 1773 to 1858. The Crown Rule. Crown Rule time period is between 1858 to 1947. So now come up to the Company Rule. हम देखते हैं Company Rule, जिसका टाइम पीरियड है 1773 से 1858. So the first act is Rule Regulating Act of 1773. This act was of great constitutional importance because ये बहुत ही important act माना जाता है. इसके कई reasons है. As we look, it was the first step taken by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. Another point is it recognized for the first time the political and administrative functions of the company. Third one, it laid the foundations of central administration in India. These are the reasons because it is so important. Now come up to these features. Basically, its first feature is that it designated the Governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal and created an executive council of 4 members to assist him. The first Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. तो पहला पॉइंट ये कहता है कि जो पहले जो पदवी थी उससे वो बोलते थे गवर्नर ऑफ बंगाल, बट आफ्टर द पासिंग ऑफ दिस एक्ट इट कॉल्ड एज अ गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल. इसके साथ 4 मेंबर्स को एग्जीक्यूट किया गया है टू असिस्ट गवर्नर जनरल. जो पहले गवर्नर जनरल थे वो थे लॉर्ड वारन हेस्टिंग्स. And the second feature, it made the governors of Bombay and Madras presidencies subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal, unlike earlier when the 3 presidencies were independent of one another. पहले क्या था, इस एक्ट को पास होने से पहले क्या था, जो सारी प्रेसिडेंसीज थी मद्रास, बॉम्बे, बंगाल अलग अलग थी. लेकिन आफ्टर पासिंग दिस एक्ट मद्रास और बॉम्बे प्रेसिडेंसीज आ गई किसके अंडर में, बंगाल के. So now come up to the third feature. It provided for the establishment of a Supreme Court at Kolkata, comprising 1 Chief Justice and 3 other justices. After passing this act, Supreme Court को establish किया गया कलकत्ता में, which comprises 1 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. Now fourth feature, it prohibited the servants of the company from engaging in any private trade or accepting presents or bribes from the natives, and it strengthened the control of the British government over the company by requiring the court of directors to report on its revenue, civil and military affairs in India. So this is the act of regulating act 1773. Now come up to the another act. It is amending act of 1781. सो इस एक्ट जो हम अभी पढ़ेंगे, अमेंडिंग एक्ट ऑफ 1781, इसे क्यों लागू किया गया था? बेसिकली इसका रीज़न ये था कि जो डिफेक्ट, कुछ जो कमियां रह गई थी रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट में, उनको रेक्टिफाई, उनको सुधारने के लिए इस एक्ट को लागू किया गया बेसिकली। नाउ अब हम इसको देखेंगे आगे। इन अ बिड टू रेक्टिफाई द डिफेक्ट्स ऑफ द रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट ऑफ 1773, द ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट passed the amending act of 1781, also known as the act of settlement. इसे एक्ट ऑफ सेटलमेंट भी कहा जाता है। सो नाउ द अनदर फीचर ऑफ दिस एक्ट, it exempted the Governor General and Council from the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court for the acts done by them in their official capacity. Similar, it also exempted the servants of the company from the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court for their official actions. It excludes the revenue matters and the matters arising in the collection of revenue from the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. It provided that the Supreme Court was to have jurisdiction over all the inhabitants of Calcutta. It also required the court to administer the personal law of the defendants, that is, Hindus were to be tried according to the Hindu law and Muslims were to be tried according to the Mohammedan law. It laid down the appeals from the provincial courts could be taken to the Governor General in Council and one not to the Supreme Court. It empowered the Governor General in Council to frame regulations for the provincial courts and councils. So these are the features of amending Act 1781. Now look up to the third another act, Pitt's India Act of 1784. Basically, it also called most important act as a more important than. Let's see the features of this act. It distinguished between the commercial and political functions of the company. It allowed the court of directors to manage the commercial affairs but created a new body called Board of Control to manage the political affairs. Thus, it established a system of double government. जैसा कि हमने अभी पहले एक्ट में देखा, रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट ऑफ 1773, उसमें क्या था कि हमारे पास एक ही गवर्निंग बॉडी थी, एक ही कंट्रोलिंग बॉडी थी, दैट वाज कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स विच मैनेज द कमर्शियल अफेयर्स। बट इस एक्ट में क्या होता है कि दे क्रिएटेड अ न्यू बॉडी विच वन इज दैट बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल टू मैनेज द पॉलिटिकल अफेयर्स। सो नाउ in first system we have a one government. Now it established a system of double government where we have a court of directors and also a board of control. Okay, now the third feature is that it empowered the board of control to supervise and direct all operations of the civil and military government or revenues of the British possessions in India. Thus the act was significant for two reasons. I have already told you that this is a very important act. As we see their significance, there are two reasons here. First, the company's territories in India was for the first time called a British possession. Now, then the another thing in India, and the second, the British government was given the supreme control over company's affairs and its administration in India. So now come up to the another act, Act of 1786. In 1786, Lord Cornwallis was appointed the Governor General of India. He placed two demands to accept the post. जो एक्ट 1786 है उसके अंडर में लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस को गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल बनाया गया, जिन्होंने अपनी दो डिमांड रखी इस पोस्ट को लेने के लिए। दो डिमांड्स रखी, वो डिमांड्स इस टाइप से हैं. He should be given power to override decision of his council in a special case. And the second demand is he would also be the commander-in-chief. Accordingly, the Act of 1786 was enacted of make both type provisions. Now come up to the another act, Charter Act of 1793. Now let's see the features of this act were as follows. It extended the overriding power gave to Lord Cornwallis over his councils to all future Governor Generals and governors of presidencies. It gave the Governor General more powers and control over the governments of the subordinate presidencies of Bombay and Madras. It extended the trade monopoly of the company in India for another of 20 years. It provided that the commander-in-chief was not to be a member of the Governor General's Council unless he was so appointed. It laid down that the members of the Board of Control and their staff were henceforth to be paid out of the Indian revenues. Now, let's see as another Act, Charter Act of 1813. The features of this act were as follows. It abolished the trade monopoly of the company in India, that is, the Indian trade was thrown open to all British merchants. However, it continued the monopoly of the company over trade in tea and trade with China. It asserted the sovereignty of the British Crown over the company's territories in India. जैसा कि हमने देखा पहले वाले में, इसमें चार्टर एक्ट 1793 में, इसमें क्या था कि सिर्फ ब्रिटिश कंपनी को मोनोपोली राइट था कि वो ही इंडिया में ट्रेड कर सकती है. बट while passing the act 1833, all the British merchants have got freedom to trade in India. मोनोपोली जो था वो हट गया था, सिर्फ मोनोपोली रह गया था, वो भी टी में और ट्रेड विथ चाइना, जिसमें मोनोपोली था कि उसमें सिर्फ ब्रिटिश कंपनी ही कर सकती है, ब्रिटिश मर्चेंट जो मेनली है. बट आफ्टर दिस पासिंग एक्ट, चार्टर एक्ट ऑफ 1833, ये जो मोनोपोली था वो ख़त्म हो गया, सिर्फ रह गया था सिर्फ टी में, ट्रेडिंग इन टी एंड ट्रेड विथ चाइना. ओके, so we cover here the Charter Act 1833. Now let's see the another feature of this Charter Act 1833. So it allowed the Christian missionaries to come to India for the purpose of enlightening the people. After passing the Act 1813, it allowed the Christian missionaries to come to India for the purpose of enlightening the people. It provided for the spread of Western education among the inhabitants of the British territories in India. It authorized the local governments in India to impose taxes on persons. They could be also punish the persons for not paying tax. इस एक्ट के पास होने के बाद क्या होता है कि वो क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज को भी इंडिया बुलाने लगते हैं ताकि वो लोगों को इनलाइटनिंग पर्पस के लिए उनको ज्ञान दे सकें, उनको कुछ इन्हेंस कर सकें. और इसके साथ ही साथ वो इट ऑथराइज द लोकल गवर्नमेंट ताकि जो लोग हैं उनसे टैक्स लिया जा सके. ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर कवर्ड इन चार्टर एक्ट 1830. नाउ कम अप टू द चार्टर एक्ट 1833. What this act said. This act was the final step towards centralization in British India. The features of this act were as follows. It made the Governor General of Bengal as the Governor General of India and vested in him all civil and military powers. Thus, the act created for the first time Governor of India, having authority over the entire territorial area possessed by the British in India. Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. And these are the another features of Charter Act of 1833. Basically, it is a more important act. So I will discuss in another video as a separate video, so you will understand more better than earlier. So now in this video, please recapitulate all those acts, so it will be helpful for you. Okay, guys. We have done with the Pitt's Act of 1784, Charter Act of 1793, Charter Act of 1813. Okay, so meet in the next video. Thank you so much for your support, and I would like to request you all, please like, subscribe and comment on my YouTube channel. Okay, thank you.